Welcome everyone to today's episode of the Old School Cannabis Project with myself, Blue Skies, Smoke Law Rich, and joined today by a special guest in a line of special guests. If you haven't checked out, say, the last 3 or 4 podcasts, I suggest go checking them all out. All the recent 3 or 4 podcasts have been super cool guests, growing my stuff, plus loving the old school as well. Real great guys to chat to, as I'm sure Deadly's Roots is going to be today. Welcome to the show, bro. Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate that, Blue. Yeah, I go by Deadly or Deadly's Roots. I'm on Instagram. I really just trying to figure out and try to find some good old school strains, and I stumbled upon Blues, and basically everything in his archive has just been given. There's a little bit of work in it. You definitely gotta find your females and your males, but even the males are winners. So if you got some cookies crap that you're trying to like spice up, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to say use cookies in it, but if you're trying to look for something that's better and different, it's definitely going to be Blue Sky stuff. I mean, like I've grown out so many different cultivars from different growers from wherever it came from, and Blues has just
Well,
been the
such
best so
as what
far.
have you grown recently before mine? How
So
long have
I've
you been
grown.
growing, bro?
I've actually been growing for about actually 6 years, but
Hmm.
it's a hard 6 years. Like I've been doing indoor and outdoors kind of newer to me. I've only done it the past like 2 years. I'm definitely trying to focus more on organic outside.
Yeah.
I unfortunately for the it's just more affordable for me. I am a salt grower inside, but your plants love it, dude. I do also add microbes and stuff to the soil though too, so they're not just like raw dogging it in there.
Okay, so yeah, so what are you growing then out of my new varieties? Because it's all, oh, maybe you got
So
some tips and tickets. What are you growing, bro?
so actually I the first pack I got from y'all, it said a skunk and heirloom pack, right? It said like haze, skunks and heirlooms. So I popped a couple of those and they were raunchy. Like all of them were raunchy. I wasn't taking any pictures or anything at the time, and I wasn't really doing as much cloning and stuff because it was all experimental phase. But all of those turned out good, and I'm re going through those again. I actually just popped 8 more of them, and 4 of them hit solos last night. So I'll start making videos of those. But everything you got, I've gotten from you. Like I've gotten actually 2 packs of Turptown tickets, which you've hooked up both times. So I probably have over 140 seeds from you in just
Nice.
Turptown. Oh yeah, I know it's ridiculous. I love it. And then 23, when I just got the 23s from you, you gave me like 35 or 38 seeds, and then also
Nice.
hooked me up with some koala puke and some. It was like a blueberry skunk or something. I'm a rotten
Okay.
blueberry skunk. Yeah, so I'm
Oh,
gonna be
nice. You
going
got the
through
rotten
those
blueberry
soon.
skunk smell, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Or the rotten skunk,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, rotten berry skunk smell. Sorry. Yeah,
Yeah. So those
nice.
those are gonna be now that I've definitely seen what your stuff is comparatively to everything else. Yeah, you got me hooked, bro.
Well, bro, I've got to say, your Star 23s are fucking amazing. They are
I
not like surprising me as such, but I've got to say, they're super nice, man. They're fucking nice.
appreciate it. And I did kind of burn her up a little bit at first because I am a salt grower, and
Why don't
I
you
was
switch to K and
experimenting.
F, bro? Just quickly, right? It's super
Hmm.
fucking cheap just to get some sugar, some fruit, stick it together for a
Yeah.
couple of weeks, drain it off, feed that to your plants, man. Cheap as
Okay.
fuck, and they love
Yeah.
it.
I got you. I'll check them out.
Yeah,
But no,
it's
they've been loving it. They're so resilient too. Like I actually had a couple of plants so I follow a couple of other growers too, just so I can always take better and better clones. And your plants always seem to clone, man. Like they they're super hardy, they clone fast, but the thing is you got to get them when you got to be feeding them really well. They got to be in a really happy environment, and then they clone like monsters.
Yep, yep. I hear that a lot.
So yeah, you can
yeah,
keep those genetics around for a long time. I personally kept the Master Kush around for about 4 years before getting rid of her.
So, what smells you getting off the Star 23 at the moment?
I knew you're going to ask that. So, super it is straight up lime, like almost like a Sprite, kind of without the lemon on there. So,
Yep.
it's super, super limey. There is some candy in it, but it's kind of seeming like it's going from candy to like the sour, rotten melon. So, it's like,
Nice.
it's pretty wicked, man. It had lost a lot of that rubber that initially has, but it's weird if you do some lower leaf stem rubs, they actually do come off very rubbery. So maybe I'm just getting desensitized to it because it reeks up my whole house.
Well, they're looking super nice and advanced for their age. What are they, like 28 days now? 27, 28
So
days, is it?
So the current girl that's in there, she's actually on day 33. Like, and
Okay.
I go off of, and the thing is, it was a late 33. So I started day one when she literally had the first ever calyx and the hair coming out. You know what I mean? Like at the where the branches intersect. So
Yeah.
like super immature still, and so she just blows up, dude. I don't actually know. Usually, it takes 2 or 3 days to even recognize the difference, but every day I go in there and she's fatter.
Did you have one in veg that was really skunky?
Oh, so I took clones off of it and it made its way to my garden. I went
Okay,
ahead and just
nice.
kept it. I kept it BSV1, and literally, dude, it smells like when you rip through your toilet paper, dude. It's not. It's great. I kind of
Jeez.
trick some of my friends. I trick my friends when they come over. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll have them smell some fruity shit. So I'll have them like smell this black ice that I got from Pure Breeding, and they'll be like, oh yeah, that smells like a nice, refreshing air freshener. And then I take them over to the BSV, and they're like, dude, it just smells like it's just wiped, bro. I'm like, yeah, man, you're gonna have to wash your hands now. And then they go to wash, and it just still stinks.
And which pack's that from?
So that's from it said so it came in like a weird looking pack. It didn't look like the Terp Town tickets, and I've actually
Hmm.
gotten a Terp Town tickets that was in like a plastic bag that just said TTT on it.
Yeah, yeah.
And but this one it said heirloom skunks and hazes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think specifically at the time because you had the Terp Town tickets and you also had the boss packs, but I
Yeah.
messaged you specifically and asked if you had any heirloom, and you sent me like specifically like heirloom like skunks and hazes. Maybe you had like a different pack going on, but they've been wicked,
Well,
man.
how long ago was it, bro?
Psh, it has been actually. I'm not gonna lie, about almost 2 years, about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly back what was happening then. Fuck knows, but that
I'll
sounds
look
right.
back. I'll look back through screenshots, and I actually screenshotted everything. So
Oh, cool, cool, cool.
yeah. I got my little just so I
Oh, so
wouldn't
I was just
forget.
checking. So that one that you were posting that was like real skunky was not from the Star 23 pack.
No. That one was not. I can't wait to go through more of those because I'm seeing a lot of other growers finding skunk in it, and its growth behavior is ridiculous. So I was right. I don't know if you've seen one of my other videos talking about how when I put them under the blue LEDs, they stay really short, right?
Yep.
Well, I put your 23 out here in my garden box, and oh my dude, it is stretching out and it has like the greenest growth I've ever seen. It is ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it go through the season, man, for
Oh,
sure.
and I have it grown with that garlic. I don't think it's really going to do much, but it helps with a little bit of dry outs because, it's really wet up here in Michigan.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Never thought about that really.
It it's definitely interesting. I've heard that the garlic itself, it has its own microbes that it can put in the soil. So we'll see. We'll see if it does something.
So just the Star 23 at the moment you're growing from here.
Well,
It,
that and in flower currently, that's actually a mature flower. But other than that, I have three seedlings that just popped, and then I have a couple of teenagers from you. But then, yep, I'm about to explore through those Terp Town tickets like crazy. Like probably pop like 15 of them or something just to see what they're about.
yeah, about some real fire, man. I love the
Oh, I
trip
oh
down
I
tickets
already
back.
everything I've seen, bro, and
How
I've
was the
spoken
smoke on the
to.
first run of stuff you did?
So it was, dude, it was ridiculous. That's the thing. I kicked myself in the ass for not cloning that so bad. Like I kept some of these other things that were just I don't know why I kept them. I think it was just because of how they were growing at the time. But then now I've kind of dialed it in a little bit better. And I seriously so the one I had before was like kind of like a garlic skunk, but it wasn't quite all the way garlicky. It kicked the hell out of any GMO that we have, like I have ever ran into.
Yeah, no doubt.
It was kind of like it wasn't quite like the turnip skunk, the cabbage skunk that you everybody has been finding, but it was interesting. It was almost kind of meaty, but
Yeah.
it almost smelled like a pot sticker. I don't know if you know what a pot sticker is, where they have like some pork and they have cabbage in it wrapped up. It was kind of like that. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, it sounds wild, man.
Yeah, it
Yeah, I
sounds like. Did you like it?
Oh, it was great. It was fantastic. So the thing is about my smoke, I do grow personal, but I have a lot of family that like has issues. Like I have friends that like their significant others have cancer and stuff, so I hook them up. And most of my really, really good stuff, I only keep a little bit of it just to say that, yeah, I know exactly what that's going about, and I can tell them what my effects are from it, and then so I can literally treat them. I'm trying my best to
There's no
help them
doubt,
out.
bro. The old school is the best, best, best source of medicine for.
Exactly. And your stuff has some CBD in it, which
Oh,
I mean, all this
definitely.
all this trash on the market literally has zero in it.
Yeah.
And the thing is that it's funny because some of the stuff that has only like 0.1% is some of my regular customers at work. It's some of their favorite stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, and also, sorry, me and Blue talked about this before. So I will add this on here. So I also am a dispensary worker up here in Michigan, but I just grow for at home because the at home medicine is just so much superior. Even some of my friends that just started off growing, it's just better than the market stuff. It's just
Yeah,
end of story.
that's how it's always gonna be,
Oh
regardless.
yeah,
Home growers will
it's gonna
always
get
be on
worse.
top, bro. It doesn't
It's gonna
matter
get
what
worse.
anyone says. Yeah,
And
regardless if
now,
it's
Dispensaries.
hydroponic or natural. But yeah, yeah, continue, Blue.
oh, they
Sorry.
they sell specifically off of THC percentage. Like
Yeah,
we
yeah.
when I first hired in there, they were happy that I was all about like, nah, I smoke some 15% stuff that gets me there, and now it's all percentage based again. So it's crazy. We're working backwards.
Yeah,
Well, hopefully you can take in some flowers of some of my old school stuff, man. Just smash them because
Oh man.
it does smash all
Oh
these cookie smokers. They've got no tolerance for it whatsoever. Cookie, camo, G, all that. People can't handle it.
nope. It's really even the best cookie stuff is just. I'm saying it's really just
That's an
not even
oxymoron,
close.
man.
That's what I'm like. Yeah, exactly. It's an oxymoron because seriously, you can
oh
you can
man,
get some of your stuff, you can pull some of your stuff off and speed dry it. You know what I mean? In like 2 or 3 days, and it still has way more. You know what I mean? Like literally, it's just speed dry it, like dang near on a heater. You know what I mean? And it is smoking. Like it still retains most of its terps. I have seen though that, and I've heard from you say that I still have to pheno hunt even if I do find a skunk. I have to make sure I have the skunk that actually holds that smell to the bag, though. I have
Yeah,
heard
yeah,
that.
definitely, definitely. Because you'll find different ones. You'll
Mm-hmm.
find
yeah,
you'll find
And they
skunks
change.
that do hold it, and a year later they still got it, and it's exactly the same. And then you'll find others that do change and
Mm-hmm.
like change completely.
Yeah.
yeah.
Are you
It's
familiar? Are you all familiar with a term called genetic drift? Like whenever you take
yeah,
I've
clones.
heard of it, sure, yeah.
Okay, okay. I was just asking because that's what sucks too, is even if you have some of the best genetics ever, you're never guaranteed clone to clone that it's actually the same. You know what
have
I'm
you
saying?
ever
Unless you
experienced that personally?
so
Just
it's weird, dude. After doing my master kush for 4 years, so I started off by keeping the mother, the initial seedling and mother, for about the first 2 years, and then I was like, all right, it's time to go ahead and flower her out, and I kept some of her clones. And after I did her clones, like and took generation after generation of clones for the next 2 years, she kept losing her initial beautiful sweet flavor, but her growth behavior was better. Like I would get better nug structure and density, but it just was losing the actual fire, whatever was making it decent before.
Yeah, I said I've heard of it simply because obviously I know what it is, but I've heard,
Mm-hmm.
there's two sides, and I've just not got enough experience personally to say I've experienced it either way. What I can
Yeah,
say is
yeah.
the cheese cutting, the Exodus cheese cutting in the UK is fucking old now. How old is it now? I think it's from 1988. So how many years is that? My maths is shit. It's a 30-year-old cutting, essentially, at least, isn't it? Um, yeah, 30 years. Is that right?
And
More,
it's still
Yeah.
the same the whole time, right?
Yeah, and
Man, they are doing it.
it is still, if you've got a right decent Exodus cheese cutting today, it's still fucking, good. I've got to say. I, I, I used to hate cheese, but I've got to say it still stands a test of time in a lot of ways. But I used to hate cheese simply because there was a time in the UK it was just nothing but fucking cheese, unless you're growing yourself or whatever. But generally on the street, all anybody had and all a fucking load of cunts asked for was cheese for like 10 years, man. I was like, there's times I was
Jeez.
just like, if I could make, like, I'm glad I never had this option, but so I feel different now. But there's a time I was like, if I could press a button now and make cheese extinct, I fucking would. There's more to
Man,
life than cheese. But yeah, that thing has been around for fucking decades and decades, and it's still fucking. I don't see no genetic drift with that as such.
that's
But who knows?
wonderful.
Maybe it's different with different strains. There's loads of shit. There's all kinds, so many variables and things to take into
hmm
account. Who knows? Fuck it. It could be a thing, might not be, or who knows? But I've certainly
Yeah.
heard of it, and
I was
yeah,
wondering too if maybe I lacked on a couple of my clones, and you know what I mean, and they could have just gotten weaker over time. Things like that could happen too.
yeah. I don't know, man. Maybe it is a thing. I'm just saying personally, I don't know. I can't. I don't
Yeah,
claim to
yeah,
be a big
yeah.
expert on everything. So where I haven't got like most experience in something, I just say that.
So yeah, you're just honestly like I love the way that you do your pollination, man, because seriously, when I got your seeds in, you can tell which ones are which. Like the 23 stars were huge and black and had these nice stripes on them. And then the blueberry skunks were like, they were a little bit smaller, but they were like, gray with these real dark black lines over them. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, the
So,
blueberry skunk haze, or technically blueberry haze skunk. So yeah,
mhm.
yeah, it's the haze influence making generally
I,
smaller seeds.
yeah, every time that you do whatever you're doing, buddy, you are doing it right. Like, you would think that you would get some cross pollination. No, you got it figured out, bro. So
Yeah,
I love the way that you've been keeping the genetics, how you've been keeping them.
yeah, I'll take a little credit there.
No, they all literally, like, even if you get the indica varieties that have the wider leaf, they still have that serration on them. Like they
Yeah,
still have that touch of your whatever you did to it, dude. Like it's cool.
well,
And let's just
you'll
say
see double serrations in narrow leaf and broadleaf, man. Same as you'll
Yeah.
get skunk in narrow leaf and broadleaf varieties.
Uh-huh.
for these same reasons, we could tell when other people are using our genetics.
It's so
Dude,
fucking
literally.
obvious as
It's
well.
so
Like
obvious, bro.
I don't get stressed about that, but it does make me laugh. And especially now, like in recent times, especially, I'm seeing my shit more and more and more.
Mm-hmm. And dude, it's
They
crazy.
just
And
work
I
for me,
love,
whether they like it or not. They still work for me, you little bitches. Still
man.
improving the gene pool, which is my sole fucking aim in this fucking game. Doing what all you cunts fucking fucked up. I'm reversing that shit and bringing effects, terpenes, and cannabinoids back. Wankers.
Yeah, he really is too. Like, I'm just saying, like, I've grown out of I've only probably grown out truthfully about three or four of your ladies, right? But I've had a handful of the dudes because I do kind of have a philosophy where I grab the most diverse kind of seeds out of the pick. And you know what I mean? If like this one a little bit wider than the rest, I'll pop that one first, kind of thing. And
Yeah,
it seems like I mostly do.
it's it's not a bad strategy. The can you hear me by the way? My bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. It's not a terrible strategy. I've done a very similar strategy and I got pretty good results with it. I chose more narrow, longer seeds and I got the cherry cola, which was exactly what I was looking for since it's more of a sativa. But
See, exactly.
the I wanted to ask you specifically if
Hmm.
since you said you've been giving this to patients that actually need to use cannabis on a medical basis,
Hmm.
do they actually see a real difference compared to the other stuff? Like that's
Great
No,
question, Rich.
Oh my goodness, that is the question. So it's night and day, dude. Like it's not even like the same hemisphere. Like they've literally told me like they can tell that I'm putting my air quotation soul into it, you know what I mean, or my heart into it. And I'm like, yeah, I just love doing this, man. You know what I mean? Like it's seriously though, like the feeling of actually treating someone and they are getting true fire. They even told me too. So the thing is, they would normally have to smoke like 2 or 3 doobies, right, to achieve what they needed to get. Now they're only smoking half of a doobie and it smokes like 3 times as long anyways. So they're getting like 6 times more smoke out of a doobie. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that
That's
is exactly right, man. People get much more medication for much fucking longer.
Yeah, like they're literally smoking 3 grams at a time. Like
And more
my
enjoyable
dad,
too.
yeah,
I
my
guess
dad,
I
for
guess they're
example,
feeling it's more enjoyable effects as well.
that's exactly it. Like if you get better effects from the enjoyment too, like you just it's just a better smoke overall, seriously. But my dad's a good example because he usually, so at his peak when he stopped smoking cigarettes, he was smoking about an ounce a day, and then I gave him like a little care package of my stuff, and he was ended up only smoking about a quarter to maybe a half a day because he's still a heavy smoker, but seriously, it was getting him by like that much of a difference.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great to hear that, man, because
Hmm.
it's it's just the biggest obstacle really
Hmm.
for people who haven't experienced this old school gene pool originating from old timer one. They just don't know really that such effects and benefits exist in cannabis, if especially they've only had anything from the last 15 years and even more
Hmm.
so from a dispensary.
It blows my mind that you have just a treasure trove of what you have and you let it go for so cheap and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna send you just 10 seeds for whatever, like $80, and then you end up sending me like 30 and then other free packs. It's, you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Well, yeah, man. I try and hook people up as much as possible because I want the genes to be out there. I want the genetics to be out there. I want people fucking growing them before just like, pricks like Kevin Jodrey and Phylos are fucking with the, patenting the genetics and fucking genetically manipulating it and turning it into a fucking poison instead of a medicine, which is the intention of all these little slimy cunts fucking around a CRISPR and Phylos, like say Phylos, all this fucking DNA bullshit and copyright and patent and all these cunts. They're all at it as much as they can for their own financial gain. So I thought about best thing is to put the genetics to as many different individuals out there as possible.
Hmm.
So it's not concentrated in one fucking small fucking set of hands or anything. It's just important people get an untouched, a pure, uncontaminated source of seeds to hold on to and work with until they die, basically. Because if you're having to rely on market bought seeds in the future, you've just got no fucking idea what genetic tampering has gone on with them and what you're really fucking consuming. Because we are in the age now of genetically modified fucking cannabis, unfortunately. And so many thick fucking cunts out there who've got no clue are going to be like, oh, it's the greatest thing ever. No doubt there'll be some color manipulation or various manipulations. Kids will fucking think is great, not knowing the harm it's going to do to health and just to the fucking organism and, to cannabis in general, as it's been for thousands of years, it's going to become some fucked up shit. So just get your own clean source of fucking old school cannabis genetics that's vastly superior to even the unmanipulated modern fucking shit anyway, and just hold on to it and do your own breeding and selections and just yeah be
yeah.
safe with what you're fucking consuming in the future
So
really.
so not trying to throw something in there to raise the blood pressure, but have you all seen the Humboldt Seed Company? They released these triploid plants. So they try to claim that they're non-GMO, but they're 99% sterile, and they're supposed to flower in only 6 weeks and
So
give
I'm
you
no
like
dickheads.
hear
I
me
think
out.
it's a Humboldt
I'm
seed
telling you,
company
bro.
that's working with a bunch of my shit. They've named something a Vienna skunk, somebody told me.
Mm-hmm.
And their blueberry probably most likely come from me by the looks of it too. Their blueberry, whatever, and
And,
probably no doubt
and
other
then
shit.
and then they gave most of their stuff the hop latent viroid disease. A lot of people were actually getting seeds and then growing them out and not realizing what was making them sick, and they got in trouble for that over here.
Yeah,
They're
it's
not doing anything fucking like craft, as you might put it, because I saw him in Spain fucking over a decade ago. They were in Spain and they were outsourcing everything to fucking Spanish growers. They weren't doing anything themselves.
yeah,
Man,
it's I was gonna say with the whole triploidy thing or triploid thing, the way that you do that is by getting a cannabis mitochondria and blasting it with different stuff to make it mutate. So
it,
those triploids are literally a mutation that they forced using GMO. If
and
they say
and it's
anything otherwise,
non-GMO.
nah, yeah.
It's
If they say anything otherwise, it's bullshit. That's it. It makes no sense.
it's so silly to me.
People just need to get a like well, you've seen, for example, without like blowing my example, as we say over here, you've seen pretty much my genes and my genetics, my gene pool is vastly superior to most things out there. Um, so people don't need to be fucking with nature, doing auto flowers, S1s, fucking any form of CRISPR. All you need to do, if you want to tap into the best, is just this is why the Tip Town tickets, for example, so incredible. It's got this offspring of over 60 different skunks, hazes, and heirlooms. And the heirlooms include genetics from every cannabis producing region on earth from old time and one selections over the decades, which you could clearly see. I don't know how long you've been following me, but anybody who's following when I made the first lot of seeds, the Boss and the Turptown in 2019, anybody who watched what I did then could see like a whole cornucopia of, if you knew what you were looking at, you could see Afghan, you could see Mexican, you could see Indians, you could see cannabis genetics from all over the world in that two polytunnels that I planted out and made selections from, and the skunks and stuff. And so it's just such an incredible, like you said, treasure trove. It's a treasure trove or a time capsule of
Hmm.
the best of the 60s to the 90s, and it's
I mean,
predominantly 60s, 70s, 80s.
your stuff just looks so old school. It has so much hair all over it. Like none of the new stuff has hairs on it, dang near. Like
Yeah,
you'll have a couple little hairs coming out and then some okay looking buds. But like you see what my plant is doing compared to my other plants of yours, the 23 star. It's only on day 33 and it looks like it's on day 60 already. So I'm kind of excited to see what day. Like I probably will have to call it a little early, probably at like 49, but we'll see. I'll try letting her go to like 56.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
got some fantastic stuff, dude. Like you really do. Like I'm gonna be picking more up too, for sure.
Well, I suggest people tap into the Medipack we got at the moment because, and I'll have for a long time. So I made about 1.2 kilos of those seeds. Um, well, all combined. I basically put in, I said 15, but I counted back later. It's actually like 19 different varieties in there, but essentially a range of different skunks, meat skunk, citrus skunk, eucalyptus skunks, some blueberry skunks, some general funk type stuff, the eucalyptus hazes, the lime haze, the cat piss, the cherry oud and musk I put in there, that extremely like unique and just beautiful terpene profile, which I'd never experienced before. I put that in there. The traditional sativa dominant haze dominant version of my skunk haze I put in there. I've kept the skunk version, the shorter skunk dominant version out. That's the rotten, raunchy skunk haze, which is absolutely amazing. We've posted some pictures of those recently. Stinks of rotten meats and skunk. But yeah, everything from the new menu is absolute fire from what everyone's posting. It's incredible.
It really is. One more thing I do got to add to one really big benefit I have gotten from actually like following your account and stuff is I joined such a great community. Like I've been followed, and now
Yeah,
follow
yeah.
so many other growers that grow your stuff and other people's stuff, and they're just all so nice and informative, and everybody's so cool, man. Like it's pretty badass. I never thought I was going to be a part of a community, and it's pretty nice.
Well, it's a great point, and to be honest, I should try and bolster the community back to what it was even more because after about 4 or 5 years of like facing a lot of fucking idiots, you do get a little jaded and bored with it. But then, like in the early days when it was like the skunk fam, um, like in like 2019, 2020 around then, and everyone was posting everything they were finding. It was just so new and different to what everyone else was posting. They were real cool times, and everybody did start. I encouraged it, like start following this guy, see how his stuff turns out, just to show everybody that I want you to see. I got nothing to hide. Look at this fucking fire. And yeah, and you'll also find, yeah, you'll find that the good people are the ones who don't listen to all the fucking dickheads out there and all the haters. So you find it's the actual good people that have got good hearts and like half a brain as well, at least as required to see through the bullshit of all the haters. Um, those are the good guys that you'll meet in the community. So yeah, it's a great point, man. And shout out to those guys that have been so kind and supportive in the last 4 years too, and put their faith in me, and then backed it up and showed other people. Support, I guess, has been limited, so that where it comes, I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, it's definitely been great, man.
But we got like 3 minutes left of this one, man. I've really definitely enjoyed having you on, bro. You've got to come on in another couple of weeks and 3 weeks. Show us how that Star 23 is doing, man.
Oh
And
yeah, in 3 weeks, bro, she'll be there. I can't wait. Actually,
yeah, man.
everybody, literally everybody's excited. Like all of my family's excited. I even had my mom come up on Father's Day and visit me, and she was excited about it. And she's not the biggest smoker, so she said that it smelled like it had that like kind of memory smell to it. But she's like, what else am I smelling? Is that lime? Like she picked it out herself, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah, man. Those tips fire up the senses. So
So
I'm
she's
interested
not
to
even a
see how she
smoker and
ends
can
up.
smell
You
it.
know.
Oh yeah, no, she'll finish like a monster, dude. It's gonna be great.
In terms of a tip profile, because I selected that particular mother as being the closest mother that I found to Old Timer One's original smile, because his original smile was just phenomenal. It's probably definitely in my top three smokes of all time, really, I suppose. And when I found this plant so similar to her, to the smile, so I've got to certainly keep this one. I pollinated her with a burnt rubber skunk haze male. And yeah, I knew she would end up fire, and she's definitely fucking proving it in your garden, man.
Oh, bro, and I'm not gonna lie, I still have three of your males stashed aside because I'm about to do another fun little seed run too. So and I'm gonna be crossing them back to your 23 star, so it'll all be your gene pool. And I'm also mixing it with one other fun thing in my garden.
Well, that's another great thing to hear is you breeding and anybody breeding with them. Even all the little cunts who don't give me any credit, I still don't really fucking mind. It's just they're just sad losers. But then there's cool people like yourself doing breeding and showing the world. So we'll get Rich to stick your Instagram link in the bio, bro. And I'll say thanks for coming on, and thanks to everybody listening. Subscribe if you haven't already. And bro, please come back on in another anytime you're welcome, but certainly in another 2, 3 weeks as we approach the harvest, and then later, another couple of weeks later, you tell us how she smokes. So
Oh
hope you get a
yes.
regular, man.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. Thanks, Rich, and thanks, Blue. It was fun.
Yeah,
Thank
anytime,
you,
bro.
bro. Take care, everybody. Catch you on the
Yeah,
next
take care.
episode.